Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Do sound checks.
Hi, everybody.
Morning.
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 Good morning.
Here we go.
Hang on. I need to fix my sound here. Okay. Everybody see? Okay. Do we have the thumbs up to, well, it's not quite 10, but. Okay. It looks like it's 10 o'clock. Are we recording and ready to go? Okay. I will call to order the Yamhill County Board of Commissioners formal session for May 30th, 2024. It is 10 o'clock in the morning. And I just want to read a quick notice. We are all online, obviously, due to unforeseen technical issues. This session will be held virtually on Zoom only, so please use the Zoom link provided if you'd like to participate. And we will also be live streaming on the Yamhill County Board of Commissioners YouTube channel. And with that, we will go ahead and do the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I couldn't remember how we did that during COVID, so that might have been a little rough. Okay, item C is calendar session. I don't think there's much to add in terms of joint meetings. We have a few AOC committee meetings next week. There is a board of directors meeting, and remind me, am I the only one on the board of directors, or Commissioner Starrett, you are too? Okay, so we need to notice that one. It is on June 5th at 4 o'clock, and I think it's virtual, but that's an AOC board of directors meeting. Other than that, is there anything else to add?
I believe we're going to discuss the Mike Cafferata had sent a request to join us. Would that be something we put in for a work session?
Correct. If he reached out and wanted to come before the board and provide a presentation, so I did advise. It looks like they'd like to come in June. If there's a particular date that the board would like to schedule that for or avoid, we would just put it on the agenda as a presentation.
Okay. I don't have the work session calendar in front of me, so I'm not sure which day. Do we want to wait till maybe after the budget hearings and all of that's worked through?
Sounds like a good idea.
Okay. So that would be either the 20th or the 27th.
I could reach out to Mike with both those dates and see which one works better for him and his team. If that's okay with the board, and then we'll just put it on the agenda for one of those 2 dates, depending on which one works best for him.
Okay, sounds good. Anything else for calendar? Okay, moving on to public comment. This time period is reserved for public comment on any topic other than an agenda item, a quasi judicial land use matter, or a topic scheduled for a public hearing. I'm not able to see anybody online, but if anyone's online wanting to provide comment, please let me know. Raise your virtual hand and let us know.
I can see the attendees to confirm that there's no one who's raised their hand.
Okay, I see that now. All right, sounds good. Nothing for department updates today. There's nothing on the work session. Nothing under consent. Nothing under old business. And that brings us to other business. I1 is consideration of approval of amendment number 2 to the Emergency Management Performance Grant, EMPG, number 23-535, between Yamhill County and the Oregon Office of Emergency Management, which is board order 23-449, increasing the award amount by $15,334 to a total of $93,649, effective through June 30th of 2024. And this is the supplemental grant that we have for Emergency Management Department.
Chair, this is just to sustain the core capacities and the capabilities that we have at this point, especially focusing on catastrophic events like the fire. So I would move approval.
Great, thank you. Any further discussion?
Amen.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passes. Thank you. I2, consideration of approval to award a professional services contract to Design Workshop, Inc. for the Parks Master Plan in the amount of $155,190, effective from June 1st of 2024 through July 1st of 2025. I believe we have either Mark or Travis on. Looks like Travis is on. If we could invite him over as a panelist. Welcome, Travis. Good morning. Do you want to kind of bring us up to speed? I know we've had several conversations about this particular contract, but where are we at now in the process?
Yeah, so we have negotiated a contract with Design Workshop. The total amount of that contract is $155,191, or sorry, 190. We've gone back and forth with those folks, keeping a very open dialogue on the scope of work. That 155, 190 is a not to exceed amount. I see Mark just joined us as well, so he's welcome to add anything here.
Morning, Mark. Oops.
Good morning.
Morning.
I think Travis, whoops, camera just went out. All right, we're back.
At this time, we are not going to be asking for any additional funds to cover the cost of this contract. We have for several years had $100,000 allocated. That's been in the ONC fund. We were very recently able to save some money that was allocated for a parks vehicle. So we have an additional $35,000 to apply to the Parks Master Plan. And then the remaining balance with continued discussion could be pulled from the SDC fund, the Parks SDC fund. So we would not come back to the board to ask for any additional funds to cover the price of the Parks Master Plan.
Okay, so that's a not to exceed. I know we talked about if there was pieces that, you know, the Parks Board could be more involved in and perhaps take care of to save money. Will those conversations still be ongoing with this particular company?
Yes, Chair, they will, particularly the public outreach portion. That is an area or a task that we will definitely utilize the Parks Board, myself, other county staff that's available to kind of tackle some of those tasks. And we did confirm this morning with the design workshop. They were unable to attend, unfortunately, but we did confirm that this is very much in open dialogue. So for example, in the scope of work, we have 3 public meetings scheduled. If we determine when we come to that tax that we only need 1, then that's what we do. We only need the 1.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions? Commissioner Sterrett?
Thank you, Chair. And I appreciate the conversation this morning, Travis and Director Lago. I had 3 questions about this contract. One of them was about, you know, being able to reduce it based on us doing some of the outreach, you know, community partners or the Parks Board. The other thing, Parks Department, the other thing I had a question about was in there, it detailed, we had asked for specifics about who did what on the project in terms of invoicing. And they said, we're not typically used to doing that process. We kind of tell you what we've done and move on, but they were going to charge us $65 per hour to give us that detail. And I'm just wondering, you know, when you work with an attorney, you'll get a breakdown on billable hours, letters written. And so it sort of underscores and justifies the invoice. So I'm wondering if we can work on that, because it almost seems like it's not unreasonable to ask, what have you done? Yeah, it's not to exceed 155,000, but obviously I don't think it's unreasonable for us to ask for that. The other question I had was regarding the GIS piece. And I think Director Lago, you addressed that this morning. Basically, what supplemental GIS information we might be on the hook for. Not that we would necessarily, I wouldn't anticipate that, but could you address those 2 pieces? Thank you.
Sure, I'll start with the invoice. So we did talk to them this morning and we have a breakdown. So I think they're worried about the great detail of the breakdown invoice. For example, how many pencils they use, how many ink cartridges. That's what they're getting to. So in front of me is an example of a typical invoice. It has what the fee is. It has what percent is complete of the project. It has earned to date. It has previous billing and current fee billing. So that's a typical breakdown that we would get for any kind of project. So they were more interested that the detailed. Sometimes people want literally the number of pages they use, ink cartridges, like I said before. That's quite detailed. Instead of just saying, like this one says, design workshop, it has the name of the employee, what their hourly rate is, and how much they got charged for it for that task. And the task is within the a scope. When we have the scope in the contract, task 1, I can't remember how many tasks there are, but we'll just get billed for that task. So it's a little bit misleading what that detailed invoice is. I think it is minute detailed, if that makes sense. It's not deep. We're going to get the detail as you were talking about, Commissioner, with each statement. Hope that answers that question.
Yeah, I wasn't so much looking for a number of pencils and pages, you know, that just reaches a level of absurdity. We wouldn't ask anybody to do that, even in government. But what I would hope is that, you know, I think just sort of looking at how easy it is when you're giving someone a not to exceed amount. I wouldn't want anything unreasonable other than kind of what you outlined, but I think there's some accountability there. That was it.
Okay, yes, we'll be on top of that on each task. The other one was the GIS, that's correct. So they were unsure when they gave us their submittal exactly how much GIS we had available, which we do through our own GIS system. And if we needed any additional information, we could get that through McCog. It'd be really easy. So that's what that is about. Really, we talked to and showed them exactly what we have for GIS, and it does meet the requirements at the moment.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think, my overarching desire is to see this company really partner with our Parks Board because they're so enthusiastic and knowledgeable. And I think that the work product that comes out of this won't be as good if it's not done sort of in tandem with the Parks Board. So I hope that that can be a really strong, close partnership through this whole thing. And that was certainly the intent when we awarded the original $100,000. So
Correct. That was one of the features that they stood out about, is that they really involve the community and the organization they're working with.
yeah. All right. Any further questions or discussion? Okay, do I have a motion to approve number I2, letter I2?
You're muted, Commissioner.
I didn't hear it. Was it Commissioner Johnston?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Commissioner Johnston moves approval. Is there further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Great, motion passes. Thank you very much. Thank you, Travis.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mark.
Thank you.
All right, item I3 is consideration of approval in the matter of granting 3 permanent slope easements with compensation in the amount of $850 for replacement of the Pike Road Bridge superstructure. Are there, and maybe Commissioner Johnston, you know more, Christian maybe, but there's two individuals, right? 2 property owners. But there's 3 easements? Just 2
Mark.
easements.
Mark may be able to speak to this.
Yes, there are slope easements for the bridge. A lot of it is really the requirements we have now for the guardrail. So there'd be you probably I didn't print that, but a couple permanent easements and probably a temporary easement during construction.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay, any further questions? Commissioner Johnston moves approval. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Item I4 is consideration of approval of a Trauma-Informed Response Training Fund State Grant Agreement, TRIT, in the amount of $18,292.08, effective from July 1st of 2024 through June 30th of 2025. And this is specific to our district attorney's office and training for trauma-informed, to be trauma-informed in all of the work they do and the overlap that they do with our clients. Are there any questions on this particular grant? Okay, I will move approval of item I4. There's no further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you. I5 is consideration to authorize Lindsay Manfred and other designated individuals to place CMHP director holds on persons deemed dangerous to self or others, or mentally ill persons placed on conditional release, outpatient commitment, or trial release, rescinding Board Order 24-76. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you. I6 is consideration of approval of amendment number 3 to an agreement between Yamhill County and Washington County, Board Order 22-279, updating contract language to include urinalysis testing and amend the revenue amount from $131,220 to $147,960 for the retroactive period from October 1st of 2023 through June 30th of 2024. I will move approval. Is there further discussion or questions? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. I7, consideration of approval of amendment number 1 to an intergovernmental agreement, IGA, between Yamhill County and Portland State University for compensation study services. This is Board Order 24-60. Extending the term of the IGA through August 31st of 2024 and adding an expanded scope of work at an additional cost of $2,240 to update a compensation study first completed in 2023 for 2 job classifications in the sheriff's office for a new total of the not to exceed amount of $23,868.00, effective upon final execution. And Christian, I just had a point of clarification on this one. Are we extending the IGA time period because of these 2 additional classifications that need to be looked into, and the rest of it's sort of complete, or are they needing some more time?
Yeah, I think it's a combination. I think they're close to completing both. They've already started to do some work on this piece, and my understanding, Ken may have a more recent update on the previous piece. If you'll recall, the initial agreement was to do the compensation study that we'd agree to do under the terms of the AFSCME contract from last fall. So I don't believe I don't think they're going to need the entire time, but in the event they do, that's my understanding. It's to give them that additional time to complete both pieces. But I'm hoping that we'll have, we already have some initial data, and that we'll have the complete data well before that timeline.
Okay, and these 2 classifications, were they in the, if memory's serving me, were they in the support services?
No, these are deputy classifications, enforcement deputy and corrections deputy. So this is for the Teamsters bargaining that we're currently doing.
Okay, understood. Okay, are there any questions, commissioners? Okay, I will move approval of I7. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Great, motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
I8 is consideration of approval of an agreement between Yamhill County Health and Human Services and the Willamina School District to provide behavioral health counseling for the 2024-25 school year, not to exceed $72,128.61, effective September 2024 through May of 2025. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passes. Thank you. I9 is consideration of approval of a contract employment agreement between Yamhill County and Mark Lago for Public Works Director Services at range 35, step 7, plus a 5% incentive for additional management responsibility for the Parks Division, effective June 30th of 2024 through June 30th of 2025, with automatic renewal unless sooner terminated. Do I have a motion to approve?
One correction on that. That's actually effective June 3rd, not the 30th.
Oh, did I say 30th? Oh, okay, sorry about that. It reads correctly. I said it wrong. Okay. So it's effective June 3rd of 2024 through June 30th of 2025.
Correct.
Sorry, did I hear a motion?
So moved.
Okay, Commissioner Johnston moves approval. Any questions, discussion?
I have just a quick comment to make. When it says plus 5% setup, that's still the same as the last, as the job description, correct? Because as it reads to me, we're adding that, but we're not. It's actually, everything stays the same. We're actually saving a little bit by him going to contract.
We are saving a little bit, but I will say for clarification, we are just based on discussions that I've had with Mark, I'm requesting this is an additional amount. When we did the reorganization and moved parks under Public Works, this was something that Mark and I had some discussions about, and we never did it. And so I'm trying to correct that at this point because he did take on the additional responsibilities with that reorganization. And when we moved that division, and everything that came with that under his purview. And so this is an additional amount that historically has not been approved. So that this is a new request.
But also to just a point of clarification, because it's a contract work back, essentially, there is a significant savings on retirement.
There will be some savings on that retirement because it changes the contribution.
Yeah.
This is part of the legislation that allows people to exercise retirement, and I want to be sure that that we still have Mark in place to continue to lead the department, and so allows him to retire but able to come back, and it's in the best interest of the county to have him continue to serve in this role.
Okay. I believe we had a motion to approve from Commissioner Johnston. Any further questions? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. All right, motion passes. Thank you. Let's see, I think that was it for other business. We have no public hearings today, and that brings us to announcements. Commissioners, any announcements?
I'll start. Butterfly tour yesterday went very, very well. We stopped at about 7 different sites, saw different variables based on how our HCP plan's going, and with Nick, who's our new vegetation management manager, spray applications at certain times of the year to preserve the Kincaid lupins and trying to keep down competitor weeds so that the lupins can flourish, which then attract the Fenner's blue butterfly. It's going fairly well. They definitely have a good program in place with mowing and spraying, certainly very specialty sprays, so that the Kincaid lupins can establish well in certain spots throughout the county. We did see 2 butterflies, which was good. It was a little bit cloudy. We should have seen more, but they went well. I ended up at the very end out at Deer Creek Park out in Sheridan. It went phenomenal. Like sunshine came out by the time we got out there. There was none. We did see butterflies out at Deer Creek, but most of them are sighted out towards the end, only on more solid.
Did you have a good turnout?
Yes, there was 15 of us.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've never seen one, Commissioner Johnston. The couple that I've been on, we looked and never saw one. So that's pretty good. Beginner's luck.
Yep. And watch out for the poison.
Oh no.
Don't go rummaging through the ditches. Just stand back, look, and I had to zoom on my camera once somebody did find a butterfly, and I didn't like rush right over and just start rummaging through the ditch.
Stay on the trail.
Yep, stay on the trail. That's all.
All right, Commissioner Starrett, any announcements?
Yes, our local government advisory council committee last Friday with OHA and with Fair Boars from ODHS. We talked a lot about child welfare system. We talked about the 1115 waiver goals and working with the CCO 90 days prior to release. We're still working on jails at some point being fully benefited, so that would really help out county budgets when it comes to those waivers. So hopefully we can get some care coordination and some some federal funding for this. This has been something we've talked about forever and ever, and there's some hopeful signs. So we continue to talk about retention and recruitment for our behavioral health workers and substance abuse providers, and it continues to be an issue.
Great, thank you. We had the YCOM budget committee meeting on Wednesday. It ended up being about a 3-hour meeting. And the reason is because YCOM is facing the same budgetary pressures as everyone else is. They've struggled with staffing levels over the past couple years, and Patty's finally on a positive upward trajectory in terms of hiring those positions, but it's very difficult to train, as you can imagine, while you have active 911 responders sitting there trying to do their job when you've got trainees as well. So it's quite challenging. But because of budgetary pressures, she was looking at potentially cutting positions or just not filling positions that are what the board felt to be critical positions. I mean, this is a lifeblood department for not only our law enforcement officers, but our fire service folks. So there were some tough decisions to make. I think that our users, district users, are looking at a significant fee increase coming to be able to maintain the operation that she has going and make sure that we have those critical bodies in those seats so that we're not compromising public safety across the county. That may be a tough pill for some of our smaller fire districts to swallow, but that's what the majority of the board felt was necessary. It will also mean an increase for the county. Obviously, we're a user of YCOM, district user, so we'll be talking about that more. But I just want to give a shout out to Patty. She is absolutely phenomenal. Every single year, it seemed that I've been on that board, there's been budgetary challenges, and she offers herself up as the sacrificial lamb to say, I won't take a pay increase. I won't, I'm not going to participate in that. I just want to make sure that we maintain and we have and we're on good footing. And every year we say, thank you very much, but you're amazing and we don't agree with you. And we believe you should be paid what you're worth. And she just does such a great job. And that was certainly the sentiment of the board this year as well. So we'll have more discussion on that coming up. I think, Ken, when is the public hearing for that? It's like June 11th or so.
I don't have the date in front of me. I'm still working with Patty on getting the notice put together. So I don't have the specific date right in front of me. Sorry.
Okay. So that'll be coming up. Increases in dues are never a positive thing, a positive message to let our district users know, but the consequence would have been some pretty rough cuts now, and really kind of kicking the can down the road to potentially be looking at even higher rate increases next year or the following year, which is, that's not good either. So we're hoping that this will allow us to have a bit more stability with that budget. But as I mentioned, they're facing the same type of budgetary increases with personnel and everything else. And I think that's all I had for announcements. Anybody else with announcements? I just want to thank Carolina and Bailey. This is like a throwback to COVID to be able to do this meeting like this today. So it seems like everything went off without a hitch. So thank you very much. And if there's nothing else for the good of the order, I will adjourn the Yamhill County Board of Commissioners formal session for May 30th, 2024. It is 10:33 in the morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you.